Hi everyone, it's Liz Danoon here, and as you know, I'm the editor of Dyslexia Daily. I'm also the person who is in charge of this Facebook page and the website Dyslexia Daily. Plus, there's more things coming. We have a new website, a new entity, and it's going to be called the Speech to Spelling Code. And I'm going to be telling you all about that. But today, this is all about the 11 mistakes teachers make when teaching reading. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So, hi Paula, how are you going? Sorry, I was a bit confused there with what I was doing. They've changed the format of Facebook Lives. So lovely to see you. So let's get back to the 11 mistakes teachers make when they are teaching reading. The number one is they forget and they always start with capital letters. Now, capital letters are tricky for learners because capital letters all have the same heights as they go across. So the A, B, C, they all have the same heights. Now the smaller letters, the lowercase letters, well, they have the different heights. So A is small, B is tall, C is small, D is tall, and it actually gives you that little bit of differentiation. Hi Pamela, it is so good to see you as well. Lovely to have you on board and nice to be making another Facebook Live because I haven't done one for such a long time, but I'm going to be starting to do a lot more. So the number two mistake some teachers make when they are teaching reading is they forget how important the sounds are. Now, one of the reasons I always say the speech to spelling code, because I always say if a child can say the English language, hi Christine, then there's a good chance that they will be able to learn the sounds that are associated with all of those letters in our crazy English language. So let me tell you something. There are 46 sounds in the English language. That's what I deem to be the correct number. Some people say 44. There's one group out there that says 72. I like to simplify things, so I say 46. So 20 vowel sounds, 26 consonant sounds. Now, when you say any word in the English language, you are actually using those combinations of 46 sounds. But here's the big thing. A child who is learning to spell has to learn over, are you ready for it? 1,200 different spelling variations to actually get all the different spelling codes that make just 46 sounds. So it's so much easier for children if teachers start with the sounds. So teachers out there, please start with the sounds, which is a, b, k, d, e, f, and you know most of them. In fact, I'm sure you know all of them. Start with the sounds, please, teachers. That makes it so much easier for our learners. Now, the other thing that teachers often do, which is a big mistake, is they leave everything in black and white. So we're talking black text on white paper. Most of our reading books are black text on white paper. Now, for 30% of children in our classrooms, they actually prefer colours. So if you have a coloured background or even a coloured text, or you're using a electronic whiteboard in your classroom, why not change the background of that coloured board or the background of the colour so that students actually can get some relief? Now, this is a big one because if 30% of children are having a difficulty with white on black and black on white, think of all the things in the classroom that replicate that. We've got fluoro lights over our heads. We've got glaring white surfaces, sometimes our tabletops. Sometimes the whiteboards are glaring white. So it's really important to add colours. So teachers, one of the mistakes you make, too much black and too much white. You need to mix it up with some colours. And you know what? Something that I have done, and I do a lot of this I actually mix up the colours right into the reading process with the sounds. So the vowels have one colour, the consonants have another colour, the blended consonants have another colour, the schwa vowels have another colour. You'd be amazed how much easier it is to make the literacy and English language code easier to digest. Hi Christine, how are you going? Lovely to see you too. Another mistake they make, this is mistake number 4, they forget about chunking. The other word for chunking, of course, is using syllables or breaking words down into their parts. Hi Zarina, hi Sam, how are you? So let's think of words like carpet, carpet, 2 chunks, hospital, hospital, 3 chunks. How much easier is it for a child to decode a word when all of a sudden they can see it's in little chunks? So much easier. How are you, Ravi? Lovely to see you too. Now, what about rhythm? Why do songs make such great reading material when children are reading lyrics? Why does poetry have such great impetus when we're learning to read? And it's because of the rhyme. Think of all the nursery rhymes and the rhymes our parents used to say to us when we were little. Hi Mary, how are you? Lovely to see you. So think of Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? Little Jack Horner sat in the corner. I think he was eating his curds and whey, actually. And look, there's things, all those types of things, all the songs that we used to sing, the rhythm and the beat behind the words is what makes language come to life for children. It gives them a hook to hang on. It gives them a beat. It gives them a prompt. It just gives them something a bit more exciting than just looking at words on a page every day. You know, I did hear about one teacher. How fantastic is this? She would have a poetry party. Every child would go away, find a poem of their choice. They would learn and learn and learn it all week. And then on Friday afternoons, they would have a poetry party. All the lights would go off, all the children would make lanterns, and the children would sit in circles and read their poems to each other. A poetry party is a great way to introduce rhythm and rhyme into your classroom. Here's another one. Teachers, you need to always make sure you have a huge number of phonic-based readers on hand. I cannot tell you how many parents contact me and they say to me, there's all these reading books, level, you know, sometimes it's level 1 up to level 10. Sometimes it's level 17 up to level 27. Every school has its own process of how they level their readers. But the one thing that every school has to have is they must have phonic readers at every single level. So that is readers that have a majority of the words in them that are easy to break down so children can actually have a way in to break down a word they've never seen before. They're called phonics-based readers. There's a few out there that I love. There's the Daisy readers. Oh gosh, I can't think of any more at the moment, but I know you know what I'm talking about. So what else do we need to focus on, teachers? Another mistake teachers will make is to focus too much on correct spelling. Hi, Caesar. Correct spelling is really great when you're an adult and you've actually seen all the words over and over again. But remember, 50% of adults can't spell accurately or well. Why? Because the English language has too many variations. Remember I said to you, 1,200 different ways that a word, that sounds, those 46 sounds can be depicted in words. That's those symbols. So we are talking about incredibly difficult thing is spelling. So don't focus on teachers' spelling. Yes, it's important, but we want to give children a break. Imagine if every time a child who was learning to walk fell, we put a big red cross on their bottoms or their backs. Imagine that. Children need to be encouraged. Come on, get up, have another go, come to me, take some more steps. Well, I need to do exactly the same with spelling. Spelling is really challenging and children need to be encouraged. So don't put too much emphasis on being correct. Just focus on some words that you want to be correct. Not all the words in a story need to be correct as you're learning and a beginning reader. Okay, something else teachers do always make this mistake. This comes from classroom management as well, but this is where teachers forget that children learn at different rates. I call it the pace of learning. Every child has their own pace of how they learn. Some children are super fast at picking up reading. They will be reading Harry Potter books before they start school. Some children won't manage to actually read a chapter book until they maybe get to grade 4 or the end of grade 3, grade 4. Some children don't read chapter books until they're in high school, and I've got a girlfriend who did not even read her first novel, and in other words, a thick book, a Danielle Steele book, until she was 21. And I still remember the excitement on her face when she said to me, I've just read my first complete book. So the moral of this story is, please don't assume that all your students do not learn at the same rate. Don't make it hard for those children who learn slower as opposed to those children who learn faster. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. Now, the thing about teaching reading, and this is point number 9, many teachers know so much about language and literacy, it is literally flowing out of their ears. But they forget that they're dealing with a little brain, a little mind who's only had so much exposure to the English language. And sometimes our teachers, they will overcomplicate the process. Some of the reading programs out there that are available, I'm telling you, I've looked at so many of them, they overcomplicate the process. You need to keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it strategic, build as you go. Hi, Edwina, lovely to see you too. I love your love heart as well, thank you. So make it simple. You know that term KISS? Keep it simple, stupid. Well, that applies to the teaching of reading for little children. Keep it really simple. Just build the knowledge as you go. Don't throw too much at them at once. Now, this is something I'm probably doing a bit of today, but a lot of teachers, and this is point number 10, when they're teaching reading, they will just talk too much. Some children can only absorb so much information before they switch off. And in fact, in today's electronically charged world, that's now a lot of children. So don't talk too much. Just get them in and going for it. Okay, so don't overcomplicate things. Don't talk too much. Just get children in and going. The last point, the mistake that a lot of our teachers make when they're teaching reading to our children is that they think after prep and grade 1 and grade 2 and even sometimes grade 3 that they don't need to read stories to their students anymore. Can I tell you, I know adults who don't read well and their partners still read stories to them at night. And I know teachers who are teaching year 12 who still read stories and books and parts of their novels to their students. Reading to people is like giving them a gift, the gift of a story. And we all know how amazing books are. They are the window to the world for so many people. People who perhaps don't travel or don't get out or haven't experienced and they want to experience new things. You open a book and you get to walk through the window into a brand new world. So teachers, don't make the mistake of thinking that students don't need you to read to them anymore, even when they're big, old, gnarly teenagers. So there are my 11 tips. Things that teachers tend to forget and mistakes they make when they're teaching reading. Let me just whiz through them. 1, they tend to start with capital letters. Start with the lowercase letters. They forget about the sounds. Start with the 46 sounds. Then attach those letters to them. They leave it all black and white. Get some colour happening. They forget about chunking. Don't forget about syllables. They forget about rhythm. Don't forget to add some rhythm and rhyme to your reading sessions. Children love it. They focus too much on what we call the not a big reading approach. Now it's got out of my head. The whole reading approach. We need to practice on phonics. So make sure there are good phonics readers accessible. Don't focus too much on correct spelling teachers because it's a learning process and it takes a long time for children to become good spellers. Don't assume everyone learns at the same rate. Don't overcomplicate things. Don't talk too much like I'm doing right now. And please keep reading to those older kids because they love it. Now, I'm going to be doing lots of Facebook Lives because it's time. I can just see it's time. I'm looking at what's going on online and I can see it's time to inspire some parents, some students and some teachers into the process of reading and to make it so much easier and more fun for everybody. So I hope you are having a good day, I should say. I am. I'm actually in my office. I'm having my afternoon cup of tea and I'm having a fabulous day. So bye for now, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you next time.